Hello everybody. Hello, how do we do? I hope everyone is doing great today. I assume. Let me just start up the chat window here for myself. Hello Miles, what's up? What's up, Miles? Anyway, I think we'll wait a little bit until some more people come on. Until then, we'll just work a bit on Penguin Heist because I want to show off a little bit of what I've been working on. But I think we should try to draft up. So, we can come up with some new ideas for, we can just use this one, I think, because we already did this. Stirring my hot chocolate. Apparently chocolate is good for mental focus. So make of that what you will. Moonside. I think an automatic, well, I don't know what a good name. Laser repeater. Railgun, I think, would be cool. I mean, we do have like a railgun, but this could be like that, but cooler, different. What's another space related? Space thrusters. That's cool, or a jetpack-ish. But how would it be different from a jetpack is the question. Well, it could use the secondary right click for like a boost. That could be cool. Something. Let's think. What's another space weapon? I mean, I like the Halo ones, like the needle gun, maybe like some alien-inspired weapon. I mean, because they're using Aquanite, I guess. Something Aqua Blaster. But I don't know how that would feel like different. I feel like the more fun items are the wackier ones. Tricky one, tricky. We have the black hole stuff. Oh, that could be fun. Breast or glove or something. Jetpack glove, something. Like you hold it out and boom, it just launches you forward and you just punch. Could that be absolutely misused with the warp swapper? I'm thinking like if there is a physics-based object, you could switch positions with it. Let's think. I guess comet related stuff. Comet collar. That could be kind of fun. Like you just call down a comet from the sky because we already have the what's it called? Airstrike, so we could just replace that with a comet crashes down. I think that would be fun. Maybe there's another one we could do. I guess we need to add alien cosmetics as well, like an alien sort of ears or whatever, antennas. Makes me think maybe there anything else? Oh, that could be fun. Yes, the like gravity resonator. So you could imagine violent stables gravity and violently shakes enemies. So like grab onto them and fling them around. I think that could be fun. So that's Moonside. Now, return home. These should be more Cult of Fish inspired, so fish-based weapons, preferably. But we could do the Aqua Knight Blaster. I think that's fine. Maybe, Aqua Knight Blaster. I guess since they do turn... Is there any fun that could be had with turning into a fish? I don't think so. Hello? Wait, is this an alt account again, Miles? Sorry. Okay, something fish-based. Oh, wait. Book of fish. Scares penguins when red. And spawns fish. DNA. I guess, like, temporarily switching a... see, what else could we have? It's weird. I think that could... Book of Fish Ritual Bell could be interesting. But I don't know what Ritual Bell would do. I think that's a cool one, Blood Oath. I think just the name of it feels... But... Ritual Bell... Ritual Bell could... Hello, Newbie Angel. What's up? You're my favorite viewer, Newbie Angel. What would a ritual bell do? I just like the vibe of a ritual bell, but I just don't know what it would do. I feel like, you know, because it's cult of fish, it's cultists in this area. They're doing DNA stuff. They're doing like, but like transforming an enemy into fish feels like a bit too much. I'm gonna make weapons for my upcoming 2 levels in my penguin game. Basically, like, my penguin game is set up in such a way that every level has like a set of weapons that you can find in the level. Like usually it's around, you know, from like 6 up to 10 weapons per level. So I'm just trying to come up with new weapons, just ideas, and then I'm gonna implement them. Like the first level is quite easy because it's a moon level, so it's a bunch of space weapons really. But Return Home is a bit trickier. So the theme of the level is there's this group of penguins that are like cultists, right? And they're obsessed with the idea of turning penguins into fish. But, you know, in my mind, there's the cultist sort of occult, magic side of it, but then there's also this sort of, I guess, DNA aspect to it as well, and I'm trying to figure out what sort of weapons cater to that theme. I feel like Blaster Aquanite is an element that exists in the world of the game. So that's sort of like, you know, scientific. Book of Fish is more like occult. Ritual Bell also occult. Blood Oath Daggers like occult. But I don't know what I want the Ritual Bell to do, but I imagine the player holding it out and the bell tolls like dong. But then I don't know exactly what it does. I was thinking like, I don't want it to be lame. I don't want it to be just like, oh, the enemy stop attacking and walk towards you. I want it to be something. Maybe it turns the player into a walking fish. I don't know. Is that too much? No, I think that's too much. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do for this. Like, what's a cool effect for a ritual bell? Like, because the game's physics-based, right? So it can do, like, physics shit. It could, like, generate... Like, generates gravity blasts around player, like, you know? That's cool. Okay, so we have, like, 3... cool. Like, Blood Oath Dagger, I imagine, is sort of, like... You know, part of the cultist initiation could be like taking the blood oath, you know, so like carving into themselves or whatever. So that could just be, it doesn't have to have like some specific effect. It could just be like a really cool but like the ritual bell could be, yeah, generated gravity blast around the player. Like you ring the bell and then after a while it just blasts away. But I could imagine I could use the Book of Fish to tie into like another part of the game. Like you have to have the Book of Fish and read the Book of Fish at a specific place or something. What kind of art? Well, I mean, this is how the game looks. I can show you. I mean, this is just one of the 18 levels that are already in the game. But it's like a penguin-based heist game. So there are a bunch of levels. And here you can see some. This is like a ghost penguin. So this level here is like a castle level. There's like some undead penguins. But this is how the game looks. I can show you like another level, like research station is more conventional level. Just toggle the canvas. Wait, how do I... With the camera? Yeah. Yeah, so this is a more conventional level. So you have like a little base there in the center. Looks a little bit like this. And then you have a bunch of, yeah, sort of containers, enemies walking around, and then behind here there's another part which is like a jail area. So this is sort of how the game looks. But then the upcoming levels, like I said, there's the moon side, which is then space, science-inspired weapons, and return home, which is like going to this cultist base. And so I want to have like this occult and science inspired weapons. And I know they work so much with DNA, but I don't know how I would... I could do a cloning weapon. Hey, appreciate it, no newbie. I suppose we could have a drop turret. Placeable turret. Because we have these turrets. Like this, and we could just have like a mini turret that you can just drop down. That works. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items. I think we'll want one more item at least. So there's at least 6 items. What could be another item? Light cannon, I guess. Could be cool. Like you just blast a big fat ray of light. And I think that's sort of like antithetical to the darkness, the cult. I think that makes sense. And then we have 6 items. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, okay. See, these guys I don't want to be rendered. Wonder if I just move these. I'll just see if that works. I don't know. Might not. I think I'm gonna set up a scriptable object that just carries all the items. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Just ends up here. Is there like a spawn point or something? Yeah, like spawn track. Yeah, transform point 0. That's the problem. Sorry. How much cough still? Sorry. I think we can move down the entire... So we move down the entire thing, I guess. Interact spot, exit point. Oh. There we go. Now you shouldn't see it in the freaking sky anymore. Okay, awesome. Works. Minecart visible in... Okay. Let's see what we can do. So let's create a new scriptable object. Script, and I think items. And then we can have post office and not post office. And then tag it with an enum. Okay. Anyway, items. Um, I guess Arsenal. Item database. I guess we could just tag them with whether or not they're So we have the items. And then item. Master class item. Here, public. Item type.
This is Mr. Penguin.
Holy shit. Thanks for the 5 gifted subs, dude. Big ups to you, Risen Demon.
This is Mr. Penguin.
Appreciate it. Awesome.
Just subscribed. Risen Demon 64 gifted a tier 1 sub to swap.
Thanks a bunch, dude.
This is Mr. Penguin. Is depressed.
Crapbag just subscribed.
I'm hoping I recognize any of these names that are getting the subs.
This is Mr. Penguin. Is depressed.
Just subscribed. Risen Demon 64
I don't know if I recognize any of these names.
This is Mr. Penguin. Is depressed.
No, I don't recognize any of these. I hope they show up.
Gifted a tier 1 sub to Z55.
But hey, we're above 10 subs now. That's until the subs run out and we'll get back down. Hey, hello, Papoon Patra. But do we have it? Ranged, melee, item, post office. Type of game are you building? I'm making a penguin heist game. Okay. Now here's the tricky part. We need to maintain this database in all the stores. What do we have? We have the item shop. Base shop. Items. Right. And that's the problem. We don't want items to be items is irrelevant in the item shop. See, that's why you don't do inheritance, because we can't assume that items is going to stay. That's when you want to refactor, you don't necessarily know that you always want to have the inherited behavior, and then when you want to decouple, you start running into these issues of inheritance. So now because it's public in the base class, we can't hide items. Unless there is an option for that. Hide public member from parent class. C#. Is that how you do it? New public get. Yeah, okay. Here. New public transform items. Get. That. So then it shouldn't show up. Hey, hello, Daddy Frosty. I implemented the auto recording thing. Yeah, it's working like very nicely. Let me show you. I'm working on Penguinize right now, but I'll just show you the editor. Will turn down the music here so I can show you properly. Hey, Swaptian, you showed up. You got the gifted sub. Anyway, let me show you. It's quite janky still, but it works. I mean, in terms of like function, like a dream, dude. So I need to just render this better. Like, the scaling here on this is like being obscured. But basically I have an array here with the audio. And I have hold to record, play, and stop. So I can hold to record. So let's say I want to take a new recording for Shwoom here. I just Shwoom. And that's it. Now it's recorded, it's in there. It's done. And I can just click play and it plays the latest recording I made. Shwoom. Shwoom. And it auto splices, removes the silence at the start, at the end. So if I'm like Shwoom. Oh, wait, I seem like Shwoom. Yeah, there we go. Shwoom. Looks don't matter on DevTools. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So it does silence detection. Yeah, waveform analysis. So very nice, very simple. But I could just spam add sounds, you know. So if I want, you know, if I want 10 variations on one word, I can just do that. And this is auto played by the Right now it's kind of shitty, but if I just play this and show you, it just auto pulls from the dictionary the words for the AI that can have the. I just need to have more natural pauses, I think, is the big thing. We'll play this and let's see. But here I start a battle now. So these are using AI voices, all of them. Or not like when I say AI, I'm talking about like not generative, but my voice pulling from the dictionary. And there you go. Simple as. Yeah, no, that's literally just built into the. I can show you this. I'm opening so many things right now. My RAM is not going to be happy. But the way I play the audio is already in the coroutine, so I could just have random staggers. Right now, I just wait for seconds for the length of the clip. So I could just stagger it randomly. Same for like pitch per clip. Very easy. I could randomize the pitch. And yeah. Very easy, very good, very nice. Because I mean, it was like I recorded all those voice lines for every single word in like under a minute. I just went through, you know. I just, you know, unfolded all these, clicked hold to record on each one of them. I was like, shwoom, fium, just reading the words. And if I was doing this in Audacity, it's like open up Audacity, save the file, drag the assignment, open up Audacity, record, save the file, drag the assignment. But not only do I have to like save the file, it's like save and write. So, but it's not just an hour or two of torture. It's also like I wouldn't record as many variations as I could do with this tool. I just wouldn't. I would be like, well, it took so long to record like one of every single word already. So like, why would I, you know, record more variations? If I'm going to do like 10 variations for, you know, 100+ words, let's say, as an extreme, with this tooling, snap, 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 you know, instant. In Audacity, holy shit, dude, no way. I have to manually name every single one, make sure all the references are actually made. And it's like hell, you know? So very nice. Anyway, what I'm doing now in Penguin Heist is I'm transferring my store objects to a scriptable objects, because it used to be or it is currently a manual assignment for every single item in the store. Mm-mm-mm. Also did copy paste unnecessary state machines to outside one or into one. Yeah, no, I haven't worked enough with the I mean I've used the Unity animator, but I haven't been too much in depth for it to be a pain to me. Like I spend so little time, and for me usually with animation it's sort of like a one and done. You know, I do it, it's not the nicest experience, but it's over with quite quickly, and then usually I don't come back that often. But also I haven't used any competent animation graph system, so I don't know what I'm missing. So for me it's sort of a whatever situation. It's not unbearable. Browser game, it should be working. You can try it. Like, I don't think Penguin, the Kingdom one is not working, but I think the one where you join my stream should be working. You can try it out. The one called Penguin Pet. Can't log in. It should be working. You might have to try making your account be like all lowercase, because I think there's a bug there with like different case letters. So just do it all lowercase and just see if it works. Yeah, no, I haven't done anything like super complex. The most complex thing I've done is like one layer of like additive animations, whatever you would call it. Sort of like, you know, holding on to an item. There we go. So items, cool. That should do it. And then we just need to, for all the items, weapon shop, right, ranged. And now, see, if we recompile this, I think items should disappear. I'm trying to override the behavior of the parent class, because all the shops are inherited from like a base shop class. Yeah, the like, I could get it to override, but like the additive is super janky for me. It doesn't seem to like, I don't know, but it's like if you're not doing humanoid animations, then it feels like the engine is sort of like, screw you. And that's like, okay. Yeah, no, it seems like you can't really... I was doing humanoid? Okay, yeah. I don't know. But yeah, it definitely seems like all the animation tooling is all... Every single thing is always humanoid. If you're not doing humanoid, you get the shaft. For sure. That's my only experience. Are you done with Penguin GTA? Yeah, it's done. It's not. Yeah, okay, it seems like I can't hide items. Like this, I don't want this to show for the stores. But because of inheritance, whatever way that they're drawing the... Maybe I could make a custom... But then I'd have to manually render every single one, because I can't specifically, I think. Or I guess I could index all the properties. Hello, Big BL9, what's up? Yeah. Um... Do I have to do this? Hide. Like, will that do anything? Like, I just want this to not show up in the item shop. Anyway. Mm-hmm. The song is 356. Let's see here. Someone wrote the entire one. Zelda's Lullaby. You'd have to use a custom editor. Okay. Yeah. So just drop that in because yeah, I don't know what they did. What is it? I forget every single time. Right. And then how do you draw all the elements again? But this is like on inspector GUI, yeah. But then base on inspector GUI draws the full UI. I want to draw per property, every single property. On inspector GUI draw property. So how do you get all the properties? Like editor var properties equals, yeah, var object equals. No, I think you don't have to do find property, do you? You can probably. Isn't there like get iterator serialized property? Get all properties of an. Is there not get properties? Would you do this type of? That's what you do, yeah. Do you get properties? Okay. It's not properties, it's the you do it for the type. Because really we want to what I want to do is draw base properties equals type of base shop, and then get properties. So these are all the base properties, and then var item shop properties are type of item shop dot get properties. So we prioritize drawing the, basically for an item shop, the way that Unity does inheritance is that it assumes that the base class is what's most relevant. But in our case of the shops, you see here it starts with like the shop settings. Shop settings are from the item shop. So basically we'll like move this up to the top because we know that all these here are unique to the item shop. So we'll say if the property belongs to item shop and is not in base shop, then we draw it first, and then we'll do another for loop where we just draw the base properties. So we can do this for item shop properties. Oh, item shop properties dot for each if base properties dot any p base p dot name equals p dot name, and we continue, and then otherwise we just draw the property. Draw property in inspector Unity on there. Oops. Editor, UI layout, property field, and then you have the property. Oh, someone's in the game. Key. What is that? That's property info. So you can just do serialized object dot get property value. No. But I'm just getting the property names. So that shouldn't be an issue, I don't think. Yeah. That's what I'm doing here. So let's see if this works. Might have to recompile probably. Basically, yeah, because I want to flip around the way that it's rendered pretty much. Recompile here. See. Yeah, it's not drawing anything. Object reference not set to an object. Editor GUI layout is not set to an object? Or is it the found property is not? Debug.log found property. Yeah, no, okay. It's the property path though. But it says find serial as property by name. Okay. Yeah, I guess it's if it's not no. If found property equals no, continue. And same here. Get fields. Oh, that's probably get. Yeah, I get fields. My bad. I keep getting confused. This should work then. Fingers in a cross. Why not do serialized object box value get type? How do you mean? Because I'm doing it's two different, like the reason I'm doing is because I need to do the separation between the base parent class and the inherited child. That's the rendering I'm doing. So I want to separate, like, Unity by default renders yeah. By default, it will render the parent class on top and then the child class on the bottom, which usually is fine. But for the context of this item store, I feel like the inheritance is really the important stuff. So I want to have that on top, and also I want to not render one of the inherited fields because I'm doing some other trickery in the background. Yeah, okay, that's the problem also. So let's just fix that as well here. Editor, UI layout, dot header. Can you like text? Label field. There we go. Oh, it need to be bold. There we go. Nice. Beautiful. So now we have this flipped around. It's not rendering items, and we can just have like the relevant stuff up top, which is like, what store type is this? Is it ranged, melee, whatever, and then linking up the database. Bar cleaner. Because the issue in Penguin Heist has been that since day one, it's relatively stayed the same, right? When I've added a new weapon, I've had to add the weapon to the store, and then also the store exists in a separate prefab, right? So I go into the store, I add the weapons in the store, and then I also have to go into the lobby, which is a scene, and add the weapon to the loadout in the scene, which is a stupid thing. I just, you know, once I've added the weapon, it's sort of like, you know, set and forget. You know, it's only an issue when you're dealing with it, but you only deal with it when you're adding new weapons, and I'm only ever adding new weapons very rarely. So to the scene, why? Because that's just how I did it when I implemented it first, and again, it's like set or forget, you know, like the workflow for adding a new weapon is create new weapon prefab, open up store prefab, assign weapon to store, to correct store, open up lobby scene, assign weapon to global loadout array. That's how I add a new weapon, right? Which is kind of lame, but again, you make a weapon very rarely. You go through this, and it's like you don't think about why do I need to rework this? But now I'm just reworking it. So create new weapon, and then assign to that's it. Done. So no need to open a bunch of scenes. Just click and open the scriptable object, and done. Much more preferable. And that also means I can have like separate loadouts for Penguin Springs and Penguin Heist. Okay. This should be in prefabs, I guess. Is there an items? But that's, I mean, that's the thing that you sort of notice when you work on like a huge project and you work on it for long enough. Like there are so many things that you just sort of end up being okay with because they don't cause enough friction for it to be worth it to solve in the moment. So you just deal with it in the moment. And then when the moment is past, you forget it was even an issue to begin with. But still subconsciously, any sort of friction you're facing makes you less likely to want to return to said task in the future. So it is worth solving, but it's a, like, you know, psychological thing, I guess. Even though you might not save that much time on solving the problem, it is a question of like how much friction are you willing to put yourself through. I think all these... No, Secret Ninja Kunai is not. Invisible Melee is not. Not Egyptian Pistol. Some of these are AI weapons that I shouldn't even be here in the first place. All assets get loaded on startup. I mean, that's essentially what I'm doing here. I mean, it's a scriptable object, so I just assign it where it's relevant, and that's good. It used to be in Photon Bolt, they also had like script generation, and it would just generate you could just do like bolt prefabs dot and then access any prefab. I use that sometimes, but again, that came back to bite me in the ass when it actually came to transitioning over to Photon Fusion, because of course Photon Fusion did not generate the same data. I had to do some manual assignment there. I find that assigning in the inspector is generally preferable. As far as my experience goes, I don't know. I think there's like rapid snub nose or something. Yeah, rapid snub nose. Yeah. Hmm. Like the, you know, I used the script generation for sorry. I used it for the you know, the IDs of the parameters in Slurp Gleeble Gumble. I mean, I guess maybe it's not a bad idea. I mean, I could just, you know, pull from maybe, I don't know. There's so, I don't think there's any use case where I've been like, you know, I wish I could pull an item or an object just via script instantly, but maybe could be handy, I guess. Just auto gen based off the scriptable objects. Because then, I mean, I could auto gen it in such a way that it just it doesn't even index, it just sets up the script to just like instead of doing a lookup, it literally just auto-gens like the, you know, you could do it. If I have like in this folder here all these items, because I like that with Slurp Gleeble Gumbles, so you could have like, you know, let's say I have an item database or whatever, and it would just script gen from, you know, it would have like a scriptable object, you know, some sort of database that is a scriptable object, and then from that it would code gen like pistol and that would just auto link and be assigned to the items relevant in the database. So it would just pull from the names of the items in the database. Because that is already a constraint I have. No item is allowed to be called the same thing. Because then I could just do like in another script, you know. Ah, late and happy birthday. Awesome. You know, maybe I want to instantiate. I could do something like that. That's because that's more how Photon Bolt did it. So they would just auto code gen the these static variables. Right. That could be useful. Possibly. Because then I could do the same for like every single, you know, networked item. Because there are times maybe I want to just spawn a barrel through a script and I don't want to have to manually assign the barrel. Only problem is this breaks in the event that I change the name, right? So that's why your solution with the IDs, but that would be a compromise, right? And you would still get instant compiler errors if you do change the name. So it's not like you're going to accidentally build. Yeah. I needed lookups by string for saving data size, and I use asset ID with networking. Yeah, but that's the thing, like, these items already are networked, right? Item inherits from so, you know, you could just pass to say, like, to the server, hey, spawn this item, because it's already inheriting from network behavior. So that would already be solved in the backend automatically. Yeah, but I'm talking like from the perspective of the code gen, like pistol, right? Pistol is a name, but let's say I want to change, you know, I don't want to be called pistol anymore. I changed the item that's in a folder somewhere, and now I call it like cool pistol or something. And then any reference being made to pistol is now an error. But again, not the worst thing, because it, you know, the change would be instant, and you wouldn't accidentally build a game and have this error slip through because it's an error. But yeah, it's just something that maybe could be fun. But there's so few use cases where that's something I would do, so I think, you know, I would just do manual assignment either way. And then I have the post office item somewhere here. I don't have any specific topic that I'm working on right now. I'm sort of working through the items right now. I have a networked sound thing. So like when I spawn sounds, I have a networked audio clip. So this thing I think is pretty good. Basically, I can spawn networked audio clips through indices, and the indices are pre-computed through an audio clip library that I have. So that's kind of nice, but that's not a scriptable object, which I probably should change to a scriptable object. Wouldn't be too difficult either. Because that's also, you know, before I was doing scriptable objects, I would just have like in my first scene in the game, the init scene, I would just have a bunch of singletons there that would be like, you know, don't destroy, unload sort of situation. Among them, you'd have the you know, loadout, or maybe the audio library, stuff like that. But now, yeah, I'm just shifting more and more to scriptable objects. But I mean, really, it's the same idea at the end of the day, whether or not you have like a singleton in a scene or a scriptable object. The only difference is you don't have to open up the scene to make changes. And also you can make references to the same data points across scenes. Weird enough, I think I get some of the techno lingo you're trying to say, but I'm not even it. But hey, at least it's something. Yeah, that's good. We're talking about basically structuring of data. That's what we're doing right now. Air cannon is ranged. This is melee. Melee. Ranged. Item. Melee. Hey, I forgive you, Alice. I forgive you. Thou ist forgiven. Would a chainsaw count as melee or item? I feel like it's more of an item than a melee, even though its interaction is melee, because it's not melee. To me is like punching. I feel like it's an item. A throwable chemistry beaker is an item. Like range to me feels like something that shoots. A Discord? Yeah, type ! Discord and it's gonna give you the link. Hey, appreciate it. Yeah, we got the Slorb speaking yesterday, like automatically. Very cool. Oh, no space between the exclamation mark. There you go. Dragon's Gauntlet. I feel like that's an item. This one's sick, dude. I went all out with this model. Look at this, guys. I did good with this one. One of my best models. Like, how sick is that? The flamethrower. Yeah, you gotta learn it. Yeah, it's spacebar is your friend in Blender. This depending on which keyboard layout you're using, because apparently they have a bunch of different like presets. But there it just has a search menu, just like in like shader graph and stuff, where you just press spacebar and it just pops up all your options. There you can search like delete, merge, smooth shade, whatever, just shows up. I don't know if the flame sword is an item you can actually use. Is it even for sale? I don't think it is. I think this is just a boss weapon. I mean, there's flame sword and then blue flame sword. Sword of the Flame, but both the flame swords I don't think have... Wait, we can see here in the blueprint studies. Wait, right here. It's I think it's tooltip. It's just iron sword. Yeah, these are both flame sword are enemy weapons. Let's see. Flame sword. And then blue flame sword. There. Scary. I feel like flamethrower is ranged. Fuck. I'm just gonna go grab some yogurt because I'm quite hungry, so just be right back. All right, I'm back. Squid Clicker Stevens, welcome. Why is it that people join when I leave? I should leave more often. We enjoy the silence, yeah. What a wonderful community. This is a safe space. You guys, this is a safe space. We don't bully people here. Except for Miles. Miles we bully all the time, as much as we can. I feel safer on YouTube. Oh. How much you earn, by the way? Take whatever you earn and times 1 trillion. That's how much I earn. As I also want to be a game designer or programmer. Yeah. Definitely, I think if you want to earn lots of money, definitely go into game development. It's the best place to earn lots of money. Really easy too. It's like, because game development is always fun. You never get bored of it. And it pays extremely well. So yeah, just do it, guys. It's one of the least competitive scenes out there, honestly. So yeah, just go for it, dude. The industry is really good too, very fair working. Yeah, especially so. I mean, indie is good, is really good. It's awesome in indie, but where the industry really shines is AAA. So great working conditions, good pay, always just good people to work with, really wholesome communities. Everyone just dying to, you know, get their hands on their next task. What degree, etc. What do I need to have to be done? Preferably something in social sciences. Yeah, I think that's sort of my #1 suggestion. Literature, art. Yeah. Any, you can do bachelor's or something in art. Probably gets, but of course with a more like political or social, socially aware leaning, preferably you'd want to have something that's a bit more what would you say, intersectional, if you're trying to get into game development, because I mean, it's it's all about understanding the ways in which, like, your privilege as a game developer reflects on the world around you, and how you can also integrate intersectionally with the communities and underprivileged people or otherwise in around you. You know, that's what it's all about, really, game development. So, any further questions? Hello, mate. You didn't even take philosophy. That's where the money is. Yeah, I mean, that's what they say. The privilege is so real. Game devs are so spoiled and overpaid. Yep. True. Absolutely true. What's the lifespan of a game dev? A game dev that gets hired, on average, 100 years. A game dev that doesn't get hired, on average, 30. And I mean, this is backed up by research since the 1800s, so there's a lot of empirical data on this. Natural costs at 30, so sad. Yeah. Yeah, they haven't been able to tie it to a cost, but yeah, it's assumed to be natural. They say that people can die of sadness. Maybe that's something like that. Just a deep, deep sadness. Oh, if they swim, their wallet is too heavy, so they sink. That is known to happen. That is known to happen. Game devs carry around the heaviest weight of them all, and that is their own wallets. Filled to the brim with dollar bills. I'm just glad game devs all like each other and there's no internal drama or conflicts. Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest reason for that, I would say, is that most game devs all sort of look up to the one and the same guy. You might, I mean, if you're not a game dev, you might not have heard of him, but all game devs know who this guy is. He's famously worked for Blizzard for a very long time, and he's sort of like a shining light, a beacon of positivity in the game dev community. His name is he goes by the name Thor because he's so mighty. But yeah, we all love him. Love him or hate him is definitely not something that has ever been said about that man. So. Toby Fox stole all his credit? Yeah, we don't talk about Toby Fox. He's been shunned from the game dev community. Toby Fox? More like Toby Dick. Am I right? Sorry. Store's making a new game called Delta Room. I don't know. I guess it's like a sequel to his other game. Oh, yeah. That's awesome. I should play this game on stream. You'll get a copyright strike if you talk shit. Uh-oh. Add chocolate bar into the game. What does a chocolate bar do? Stamina? I mean, there really isn't a stamina... I guess Penguin Springs might have chocolate bars, but Penguin Heist, I don't think would have a stamina. Is this a melee? Yeah, it's melee. Okay. I've been putting too much of this chai syrup in my coffee. Because now I have... it used to be that I would just have coffee and then like the tiniest splash of milk. And I'm like, yeah, that's delicious in the morning. Now I have coffee and I don't put anything in it. And I'm like, damn, this is tasteless. Chai syrup. Basically something like this. It's like simple syrup, but with added chai spices. Makes the coffee taste like Christmas. But the problem is because I've been getting used to it being so sweet. And now now I'm like, I desire the syrup, because if I don't get the syrup, I struggle. I've built up a sugar tolerance, yes. That's why you should never treat yourself. You'll get used to it. Yeah, I think that's probably that's sage advice. Never treat yourself, guys. Don't build up a tolerance to treats. Just eat charcoal for breakfast. Never get a girlfriend. After a breakup, you'll feel even worse. Also, sage advice. There we go. Wait, was it not transform? Oh, to list. There we go. So are you a game developer yourself, Squid, Flicker, Stevens? How many game devs double dip by streaming? Surprisingly few. I mean, this is my full-time job, so I just, you know, I'm always working from home. I used to not always work from home, but now I do. And I just felt like to not get cabin fever, it was quite relevant to start streaming. Mario Maker and Scratch? Alright. You should try Spore Galactic Adventures. Have you tried working at like a Starbucks? I worked at Subway. When back in 2017 and 18. Oh, game deving. Okay, yeah, I didn't game dev at Subway. I worked there. So I mean, before I did like the reason I work at home now is because I have a proper home office. When I wasn't working at home, I was living in student housing, and I mean, my desk was right beside my bed, and it's not the vibe to work and sleep in the same room. Like, I don't think that should not be the case. It's probably fine in your student years, but as you get older, like, you need to have that mental separation. So I would start going to like the library or whatever, university library, or go to cafes. Not Starbucks. We don't have that here in Iceland, but and so I'd do that. I'd go out. But then at some point I ended up getting a home office, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start doing this home office thing and try to take it seriously. And I started doing it, I really started liking it. But it feels very, yeah, like I said, cabin fever. So I started streaming. And I feel like it's also like I've been doing a bunch of side projects as well that I feel like I wouldn't be able to justify if I wasn't streaming. Like, I've done all these, the stream overlay is a game. I've done like all these smaller things. We've doing a bunch of random stuff, so it's nice. Maybe if my brain was a bit different, I could lock in a different way. Does it scratch the itch? Not in the same way. No, I do feel the itch to want to go outside at some point. But I used to do it like once a week. I'd go out, just bring the laptop, go out, but I sort of just stopped. I don't know. It's mostly just that you sit at home 8 hours a day, not speaking, not saying a word. You're sitting there, and I don't know. It's just not the nicest feeling. Nice for a while. I never got into coding and shit, but like everyone I met who did coding wanted to be a game dev so I can manage super competitive. It's actually not super competitive because especially now with AI, it's even less competitive, honestly. like, it's I think too many people just lack the discipline required to even finish a game at all. Very few people thrive in like a solo dev or whatever situation. Very, very few people thrive in it. Most people will do chronic project hopping. They'll start a project, jump to the next, start another project, jump to the next, and just hop in between, never finishing everything, just abandoning left and right. That's the average game dev. So, I mean, you look at the new games on Steam, like new and upcoming or whatever, and it's just, I mean, it's not, the quality isn't super high on average. Like, you think there's a lot of games coming out, but really in the grand scheme of things, it's not that many. And in terms of like commercial contenders. Are some people just not meant for it? Yeah, probably, yeah. I think some people just aren't meant for it, for sure. Some people thrive under some sort of management as opposed to being their own manager. Because that's the thing, like when you're a game developer, solo or even indie, you generally have to be your own manager, and that's where people fail. They don't have the discipline to be able to say, hey, you're going to finish this thing. And so instead they just like, they work on a project, they get bored, they jump to the next. Which is fine if all you're doing is as a hobby, right? There's no shame in project hopping if you're just doing this as a hobbyist thing, because the joy of starting things. What's the advice? Be more disciplined? No, if you're the person who could become disciplined, the thing you need to do is, like, even the most disciplined person is never gonna find themselves being disciplined enough to take on a large scale project on a scale that is far beyond what they've ever done before, right? As a solo dev, imagine you've never finished any project ever, and you're like, I'm gonna make my first game, and you start working on a game that you know, as you're sitting down to work on it, this is gonna take me like 5+ years. If that's your first game, I will say with 100% certainty, you're not gonna finish it, because you may be capable of that amount of discipline, but you have never even experienced anything close, remotely close to the amount of discipline required to finish product of that scale. So I would say start small, make smaller games first, finish them through, see what it takes, because when you're working on a project and you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, you will want to give up. Because first of all, it doesn't feel like you're making any progress. Second of all, you don't know what is required of you in the first place. So it's like, not only do you not see the light at the end of the tunnel, you don't know how long it is until it will even be visible. And it's like, you need to have a certain kind of mindset to be able to project yourself a number of years into the future on a project. And you don't develop that intuition just by sitting down and you know, hitting the grind, you know. You need to have a couple of projects under your belt, and they can be short projects, you know. Set deadlines, schedule, stay organized. Yeah, but you don't even have to do that. Like, I generally don't do much scheduling, and I don't set much deadlines. I just work, because you build up this intuition. Like, if you make a game from start to finish, you spend a month working on it from start to finish, it's done. You will build up so much intuition about what is required of you to finish, like bring something from start to end, because that's the biggest thing, start to end. What does it mean for something to actually be finished? And that's what people don't have the perspective of. And what most solo devs, I think most solo devs will echo this sentiment, is that it's never really about the planning. It's just about sitting down and getting stuff done. and like moving stuff along. And then at some point, like, I always make this sort of, I have this visualization in my mind that a project exists within a space of possibilities, right? So as you start making a project, this is the space in which this project can exist. So this is the space of all possible ideas. And we're just using 2D as an example, right? So like any point out here is out of scope. This does not exist as a possibility for a project. So if you're making like a first-person shooter, this project is not going to exist here because this is the realm of like real-time strategy, or maybe this is the realm of 2D platformers. Like, of course, that's not what the project is. So you have a realm of possibilities of what your first-person shooter can become. And as you work on the game, the possibilities, you know, as time moves forward, the realistic space of possibilities becomes slimmer. As you add more features and more features, it becomes slimmer and slimmer until eventually you reach the penultimate point where the project is done. So this is done because now it has become defined. There is only one space that your product can exist in, right? This is the point of doneness. But as you start out, it can be anything. And I think what becomes demotivating... No, yeah, you don't know. And people like to pretend that they can know, so they write up, like, you know, these full design documents, which works for simple games. Like Balatro, for example. I imagine a game like Balatro, you could make a design document. You can just plan that ahead of time, start to finish. It's probably going to be, you know, it's going to be a much more pointed, you know, experience. So this might be how a planned project would appear. It's about the breadth as you start. But most game devs don't really know what they're making until they're making it. It becomes apparent to them what they're actually doing as time moves forward in the project and as more stuff gets added to it. Like this gets narrowed down by like, how much time am I willing to spend on this thing, realizing what takes more time, realizing what's fun, realizing what fits in the project, realizing sort of how much time do I spend on like making models, sounds, whatever. Beginners try to include too much. No, the beginners, the fun part of making a game is the idea phase, because all you see is endless potential. And I think, not to get too philosophical about you guys, but like, it's the same thing about growing up, really, right? As you're a kid, it's exciting to become older, right? And the reason it's exciting to become older is because all you see is endless potential of what could be. But as you age up, this cone of potential gets slimmer and slimmer because the choices you make along the line are trimming off the possibilities of what could be, right? Maybe you fall over and you get like some permanent freaking damage to your spine. Well, all of a sudden now you can't do like professional sports anymore. Or maybe you didn't spend enough time learning this thing at a young age, and now it's going to be really hard for you to learn as an older age, and so on and so forth. You know, the realm of possibilities keep slimming it down. And it's the same thing with the game project. As this cuts off, like the fun parts is like the idea phases here, but the actual raw implementation is quite boring. And the further down the project you go, the less it's about coming up with new ideas and the more it's about implementing them. But that's why, you know, as you age up, the reason people get a midlife crisis is because they realize that they're past this phase of endless potential, and now you're in this, you know, now you're in the real shit. Now it's just all implementation. The amount of stuff you're going to come up with at this point that is new and novel is far more limited than the stuff you could possibly have done before. So I think it's just an inherent thing as potential moves into reality. That is like a traumatic thing, so to speak. That is my own headcanon, at least, as far as why I think people like to project hop. Okay, so start small and more aimless, get a feel, and then go bigger and more focused. Yeah, I think it's too much for people to cope with this than it is for people to cope with this. Because not only as the realm of possibilities at the start is smaller, it also ends up shorter, right? Like this is measurably shorter than this. And so the, you know, if your sight forward is equal to this, if this is your ability to freaking see forward, then this is, you don't see the end. You don't want to be locked in something you end up hating. You'll end up hating whatever it is you're working with, 100%. But it's a question of like realizing that the parts you hate are temporary, and they are a phase you will make through as you then achieve the ending of whatever it is you're working with. And I think some people don't want to make compromises. Some people assume that because something isn't working, it will never work. And it's all these lessons that you know, it's an intuition you build as you work on more and more projects. So like, make a 1 week project, make a 1 month project, make a 2 month project. Build up that intuition, because you can be the absolute most skilled developer of all time. You can solve any problem that is handed to you, but that does not mean that you will finish any project ever. The absolute smartest person you've ever seen does not have to be a person that even has the discipline to finish a large-scale project. Most people can do a 1 week project. Most people can. Most people can even do a 1 month project. But ask the amount of people that have worked on one and the same thing for a year plus, and you will find a dramatic drop-off of the people that have ever done anything that is 1 year, let alone 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Because that's the realm of time we're talking about with games. Doing the Rust legacy support is the only reason why I can work unlimited. I remade a whole game solo, so I know firsthand the dips and how to keep on pushing. Yeah. Hmm. But yeah, I think it's also it's so much like I feel as too many game developers, they want the answers before they start, not realizing that you'll find the answers as you're doing the thing that you want the answer to, which sounds a bit like that's paradoxical, you know? But that's sort of how you have to work. You start small enough that you can wrap your head around the problem and then keep scaling and scaling and scaling. And as you scale, each level you scale up is going to become manageable because you've already done, like, you know, if you're on level N, you know, just like induction, you've already been on N-1. So N doesn't seem that scary. And now let's say that N is level 10 and you're on level 1. Well, if you played any game, if you're level 1, you don't tackle a level 10 enemy because you know you're going to be freaking killed. Same thing in game development. You could do it if you're smart. If you're freaking kiting the enemy and whatever, you could tank a level 10 even though you're level 1. If you're really, really smart, really lucky, but probably you're not that guy. Probably you're not that guy. I'm not that guy. It's a very difficult field, though, not knowing how to implement something, running out of ideas, being stuck on some BS. Yeah, and it's also, I mean, it's so much stuff. Especially if you're doing solo. I mean, it's modeling, it's music, it's texturing, it's art, it's level design, maybe story, writing, sound design, and then scripting, like scripting game logic, shaders, on, and then the engines you're working in, you know, the tooling that comes with that. And then like performance critical code. It just goes on and on and on and on. And then you have to be like maybe familiar with computer architecture. And so it just never ends. You always have to be learning new things. Anyway, let's lock in here. So all items, if blueprint items does not contain I, then right, okay. Mhm. Blueprint studies. Here I need to... Hmm. Hmm. There we go. Hmm. Wait, is it? Oh, there. Okay. Sweet. Hmm. Okay, so that's that hooked up. Now I just need to go to the lobby. Just double check that. Yep. The same thing I have to do to the clothes, I guess. They're assigned as transform. Okay. We could do it public, but just hide an inspector. Sweet. So that should be the loadout. Now I should be able to easily just Hmm. Then yeah, clothes should also do the same thing, I guess. Let's just see that it works. I don't know that the item vault does anything, honestly. Yeah, this should happen in Awake. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Why is it no? I mean, it is assigning it correctly. We'll recompile and see what it's pointing to. Rock God's guitar and electric guitar. Okay. I guess for safety we can put the electric guitar in enemy weapons, but it seems to be working. Electric guitar. But get corn on the cob. Right, corn on the cob is not... not an item, I guess. I just used it for a video. Or we can just add corn on the cob to the post office. And this is all we have to do. We just mark it as post office. Now it's in there. Oh, it's a new item. New item ID. Okay. Centralize item to database. Hello, Choco Cream. What's up? It has been a while, Choco Cream, hasn't it? Yeah, it's alright. You can probably remove a lot of these. Yeah, you showed up at a bit of an odd time because I'm gonna be ending this stream quite soon. I'm gonna take a little bit of a walk, a leg stretcher, and do some off-stream work. Well, that's good. Mm. Pink boxes, you were saying. Oh yeah. Playing on Linux or something? Why is it pink boxes? What's juiced? The menu screen transition? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's been since day one, actually, we've had 3D menus. Actually, not because we thought it's it's inspired by Banjo-Kazooie, but it's also just like much easier to do it because I hate UI. So if I can keep stuff in world, that's nicer to me. On-screen UI makes me puke. Anyway, the item database is working now, so. I think it's just in games. I just feel like if you have, I love any sort of immersive UI that is like built into the game. So much more. Like Dead Space, having the health bar be on the character and stuff like that. I think it was in King Kong on the Xbox and 360. That game didn't have an ammo count, but instead you would click a button to see how much ammo you had, and the character would say like 3 rounds left, you know? So they just like, they'd look at the weapon and like check how many bullets do they have left, and they just say it, which I thought was awesome. Like any of those in-game UIs, love that stuff. On screen if I have to, but in-game so much cooler. Okay, sweet. Anyway, I think I'm done with the stream for today. I'm feeling kind of saucy, so I'm just gonna go take a walk and stuff. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We might do more Penguinites tomorrow. It's possible we'll do that. I'm gonna be implementing some more weapons today. Because we're trying to finish up the last few levels now, and that fish has been working hard on his levels, and it seems like they're almost ready to be implemented. So we're gearing up towards that, and I need to have the weapons ready, or at least close to ready before the levels are ready. Because again, we're doing like blueprint system in the game, so it's all about finding weapons in the level, and I have to have weapons that you can actually find, so I need to add new weapons for that. But I want to do this. The item-based refactor, so I might tackle this off stream maybe today. We'll see. It's a bit of a sweeping overhaul to engage with this, so anyway, I'll see you all around. 2 streams today? No, I'll probably do this off stream, not streaming this. I'm just letting you guys know what I'll do off stream. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in today. And how long did I stream for? It was like 3.5 hours or something. Yeah, it's a bit of a shorter stream. Yeah, no spoiling you guys. Sorry. Get wrecked. If I ever do dual streams in a day, I usually don't do another work stream. I would stream a game or something. But I haven't been playing so much games recently. I've just been working. Anyway, see you all. Have a great rest of your day, and bye-bye.